What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again with some special guests this evening for a special edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. I want to welcome my homie Ansem from BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, and Reese from Reese the Funeral Man from Torture Chamber. And was it Torture Chamber After Hours now? You got a second one, right?
That's the second channel. This Torture Chamber, just Torture Chamber. The Torture Chamber After Hours is the other. That's the other channel.
That's right. So we're gonna break down the whole Lil Wayne Carter 6 aftermath, if you will, this evening. Lil Wayne Carter 6 dropped on Friday last week, and it's been buzzing all over the internet, whether you like it or you dislike it, or it's got a lot of opinions floating out there. So we're going to sum it up all in the end as to what it really means for Lil Wayne's career. We're going to look at several angles from this album, and we're going to give our opinions. And, of course, in the comments, tell us what you think. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, but also let us know what you think about the album as well. So, gentlemen, let's get started. Let's just start. Overall thoughts on the album and your overall take. What do you got? Lil Wayne Carter 6.
Bitch. Rich. 666.
I knew you go there.
You go ahead.
Man,
I had to say that.
I'm gonna be bringing up Kendrick Lamar a lot in this stream because
Lord.
a lot and not because I'm a Kendrick fan. It's a point that I'm going to make. A lot of artists haven't learned nothing. They haven't learned nothing. GNX is the pinnacle. That's where you're supposed to compete with and beat. These artists are coming out with stuff and they're not competing with that. He's the top guy. He's going to remain that guy if you keep on putting out stuff like this. This album sounds like you did it 10 years ago. I'm talking like, I'll be honest with you, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I know this. I think this is an AI album. I think he did a lot of AI stuff.
Oh, wow.
There's AI involved with the album. There's definitely AI involved with the album for the fact that the first song on the album, you can tell that is not a real sample on Welcome to the Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was telling him that. That's not Aretha Franklin. She ain't coming outside to sing Welcome to the Carter. That's not Aretha Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Like but I think he definitely did some things like that. But the reason why I say that is because if I listen to Wayne and with this the joint he did with Cordae, that's 100 times better than this album.
Oh yeah.
How
no question
doing verses like that? But then you dropping stuff like, what up, though? Like some elephant like, what are you doing?
He rapped on DJ Premier beats last year.
Yeah.
This what I'm saying.
Now he's rapping on Eminem beats. Ain't that some shit? Yeah, I said it.
It's crazy because I'm looking at it from the point of view like, well, you said that don't make you wake up the monster, let me sleep and all this stuff.
Yep.
Right? And then you turn around and drop something like this. No, we just stay asleep, homeboy. Stay asleep because I just don't understand hip hop artists at this point in their career. You gotta be better than Kendrick or at least try to match his energy. This is not it, bro. This ain't it. I'm sorry. Right. The reason why I say that is because the top guy is him. Drake was the top guy. Kendrick took him out of here, right? Now he's the top guy. But it just seems to me like none of these artists want to compete. They just want to do their own thing.
That's a great point, man.
And then complain about him being the top guy. It was a wash, bro. This album was a wash. I gave it a 4. Like it was a wash.
I'm not too far
like for
away
real.
from that. I hear that. Ansem, what you think?
I will say this though, because I listened to the album twice.
Yeah.
It's not Wayne's worst album, but it's a bad album to put out right now.
Yeah.
right after the accolades you received last year.
Absolutely.
And all of these debates about Lil Wayne got robbed for the Super Bowl. It should have been Kendrick. It was better off being Drake. And he lost. So with that being said, it's not his worst album.
What's his worst album to you?
Shoot. I Am Not a Human Being. I didn't like that.
Rebirth was pretty bad.
I didn't like 500 Degrees.
Yeah.
It was one other album that I can't remember the name to, but those two definitely for sure.
And we're going to talk about that.
This was better off being called Funeral 2, because Funeral, he was trying to rap on beats he normally don't rap on purpose.
Yeah.
Some hit and some didn't hit at all. This was better off being called Funeral 2.
It definitely felt that way. It felt more like Funeral 2 than part of the Carter series. Why he added this to the Carter series, God only knows.
The reason why I think he did that is because similar to the Carter 5 and 4, he did a lot of payment. Really, Carter, he might have did it for all the Carters. All of the Carters, but definitely 4, 5, and 6, he did a lot of paying homage.
Yeah.
Now, redoing Rock the Bells was okay.
Oh, God.
But, yeah. Foxy Brown did better than you. And she came,
You're right.
Like, that's crazy.
You're right about that. Yeah. Oh, man.
I will say this, though. I'll finish with this last part.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne's worst song ever may be on this album. The name of the song is called Moolah Coming In.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was his attempt at rage music, trying to be like Playboy Carti, and it fell so flat. That was horrible.
He had a lot of songs on this album that I was like, this is probably the worst. This is worse than that. Wait a minute, this one is worse than that one. He had a lot of joints on his album.
When I go back to it, it's even worse.
I listened to the album.
I do like Being Myself. I do like Maria. I
don't like.
I do like the song with 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
Despite rich, bitch, switch. It's sad that was one of the best songs on the album. That's sad.
It really is, man.
He got out-rapped by Big X the Plug, man.
I'm glad you brought that up, because this, to me, has to be the worst anticipated album produced by a GOAT tier rapper I've ever seen. Yes, it's worse than Eminem Revival. I'm ready to go there.
Okay.
Because
wait. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go there. I mean, this album, you bring up everything being dated. The bars were dated. The flows were dated. The rhyme schemes were dated. The production, like I said, I was thinking, like you said, I think it was AI. It sounded like some AI bootleg, beat producers. When you had access to like Metro Boomin, Hit Boy, Kanye, Alchemist, I mean, you could get any great big name producer, and then you put the Carter series behind it, which is even worse, on top of everything that was riding on this. Because Lance, you brought up the fact about, this is after the Super Bowl pity party that he ran for 6 months. I mean, he went lobbying on ESPN and Sports Center, begging to be on the Super Bowl and all this shit. And this is what you put out? Oh my God, it's terrible, man. Like, and he has weak attempts at radio records, and he got out-rapped. I'm glad you brought up Big X the Plug. He got out-rapped 4 times. I count him 4 times.
And that was a hook, by the way. That's crazy. That was a hook.
I think his name was J Rock or J something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He got out-rapped by 2 Chainz and got smoked by Big Sean on a Carter series album. So, I mean, this is terrible. I gave it a 5 out of 10. But, and with all that was riding on it, like, this was your album to show that you were still at the top of the hip hop game, and you just put out the laziest effort I've ever seen from a GOAT or supposed GOAT. We'll talk about that later.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree. I definitely think that he definitely didn't put his best foot forward on this joint.
Yeah.
I think that everybody outshined him on this album. I think that like you said, for all the crying he did about the Super Bowl, and then you turn around and drop something like this, I wouldn't go as far as saying that his legacy is tainted. I'm not gonna say that because he has a lot of work. But people always do say you're as good as your last project, and I think he should hang it up. I don't think he should make any more music after that. That's how I feel. I think he, because my thing is, he's like, I don't know if y'all know anything about UFC. He's like Israel Adesanya to me, right? Israel Adesanya was extremely good at one point, and then he started losing all these fights. And now he took another fight and he lost like 4 fights in a row. That to me is where I see Wayne at right now.
Yeah.
He's in this place where if he drops another album and it's a dud, his legacy is over, in my opinion. So I think he should just go out on the Shield right now and just maybe feature here and there, but trying to come back and do another album, I just don't see it working for him.
Let me ask you all a question real quick. Yeah, go ahead, Reese. Finish your point.
No, you finish. Go ahead. I'm finished. I was just saying. I think.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think that this album, because Lance, you brought up Funeral too, and I'm just thinking out loud here. Do you think that he purposely rushed this album just to feel good about himself, or just to let fans know, I'm still around, because he was so emotionally hurt from the Super Bowl that he needed his fan base to kind of, I don't want to say like give him a hug to make him feel wanted again? Like, this feels like a very, very insecure album. Like,
I disagree with that. You know what it really is?
So?
Lil Wayne been saying for years that he's been out of tune with what's going on in hip hop. And the backfire of that is inconsistency ever since, you could probably say, every album after the Carter 4, because
I could agree with that.
It's like he's in his own world, which is cool. But if you're going to be in your own world and you want to be on these level of these MCs, it got to be dope. Kendrick be in his own world. He still be dropping shit. I ain't a Drake fan, but Drake is in his R&B world right now, and females and dudes are still loving this album.
Yeah.
But you got Wayne fans disappointed. And
that is true.
And it's definitely at a time where you're dropping dope features. That's why I disagree with Reese when he said Wayne should hang it up. I think, if anything, do no more albums until you're going to make an Illmatic type of album. Because he can do that right now. He has the popularity where he can do that right now.
Yeah.
But he thinks what's being relevant is to make the popish beats. And you're going to hate when I say this, some of them beats sound like Eminem beats.
Some of them do sound cheap, and Eminem's production did fall off over the years. But you still can't count what Eminem has done with Dre and some of those singles. And even the beats on the last album were pretty decent. You know what I mean? But I hear what you're saying, because Eminem does use some cheap beats. Let me ask y'all another question. Where was this supposed Drake and Nicki Minaj feature? What happened to that? There was a rumor floating around about a week before this that they were going to make a guest appearance on this album. And do you feel it really shows that Drake and Wayne kind of really parted ways as far as being in tune with each other? What do y'all think about that?
That was actually a rumor. And somebody made that up, and then academics reported on it, and he put it out on his page, and that's when he said, "Hi, Kendrick," basically saying like, "Look, the gang's back, Young Money's back together. Oh, it's over for you."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, that was made up. And I'll be honest with you, I think that if Drake would have been on this album, it probably would have made it a little better, in my opinion.
I think too. He needed Drake.
I think that he definitely did need Drake on this album. But it does go to show you. It does go to show you that their friendship is not. I put it to you like this: we haven't. All we hear is negative things about Drake and Wayne. They was at the same party. They didn't speak to each other. We hear about that. The Wayne, we believe Wayne taking shots at him in that song with Cordae, where he says, "You know, but a Teddy Bear, Teddy Graham, and all this stuff." Like, Wayne is really slick. Did y'all know? And I want to point this out. Y'all probably missed this. Did y'all know he dissed Kendrick on this album?
I heard
the very last song.
About the last song, which I actually like, right?
You know, Kendrick says he calls himself Candyman. You know, right? So, Lil said, "Look in the mirror and say the Carter 6 times." You know what I'm saying? Because actually, when you say Candyman 6 times, he also said that your flow is good, but mine's is better, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took a couple of joints, but that to me was the most significant one. The Carter say the Carter 6 times. Look in the mirror, say the Carter 6 times. As Kendrick Lamar said, what he said, it was on The Heart Part 4. And he said, you look in the mirror, you say, I promise you say my name, I promise you're gonna see Candyman. And in the movie Candyman, you got to say his name 6 times for him to come out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like you really don't know. But as far as like Nicki, and I don't know about Nicki, but if he would have had Young Money on the album, it could have been a lead single. It could have been something. To me, it's not even the album sound bad. It's so much more to this album that made it bad. There was no lead single. There was no lead up, nothing. He just dropped it, rushed it, did it. The rollout was terrible. I just think that he could have did a better job.
It was just lazy,
and
yeah.
And then on top of that, you got to get away from these bouncy beats. That's over with, bro. Them beats are over with. Like, in my opinion, they're over with. I make beats, and those beats are over, bro. Like, nobody wants. That's why you don't hear nobody make it no more.
To that point, if you're gonna put out a banger and make those type of trap bangers and like you say, bouncy beats, at least make them good. Get the dudes like a Metro Boomin that would do something like that. You know what I mean? And get the best producers in the game to make the club banger like he made in the early 2010s and the 2000s. Where was that?
Weezy Out of Here.
No bangers on here.
Weezy Out of Here definitely made his worst beat on this album. He definitely made his worst beat on this album.
Yeah, that had to be it. That's the only guy I know Bangladeshi was heavy with back in the day.
And I'm right. The best song on this album is produced by Mannie Fresh.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty much. And I'm not a Mannie Fresh fan by any stretch of the imagination, by the way. But yeah, I mean, come on. There were so many. You had access to the best producers in the game, and you come up with these terrible, cheap ass beats. Like, it's terrible.
I think a lot of these legacy artists, they're beholden to themselves to the point where they don't pay attention to what's around them. Like, all right, I'll give you an example.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you just like this, right?
They're out of tune. They're out of tune.
They're out of tune,
right? Mm-hmm.
And you know how I feel about Drake. Drake has a chance to make a classic right now if he wanted to, because all he has to do is move away from what he used to do and do something totally different.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's all he has to do. It don't even have to be super fire. He just has to move away from what he's been doing and do something that people say he might take an L from his fans because they're like, oh man, we want to hear this. But he'll get more respect that way because people will say, oh man, he finally made a rap album. You know what I'm saying? Whether he said Kendrick made him rap, whatever, doesn't matter. I think him and J. Cole is at that point they should do. Now, J. Cole's a little bit different, but Drake definitely. Lil Wayne, to me, he lives in his own bubble. He don't want to hear nothing else outside of it. He said he didn't. He's such a liar too. He said he never heard Not Like Us. And he's on stage singing Not Like Us. I never heard it. You never heard it?
Rest in peace, Mac Miller. It must be the drugs.
It must be the drugs. You're right.
But you made a comment about it. Oh man, like So my thing is like, me personally, and this is how I feel. I think Kendrick Lamar listens to every rapper. I think he listened to all of them because in his head, you obviously know he does because the way he moves. He listens to every one of these rappers and he says, I got to stay ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? Like even your boy Kanye, in my opinion. Kanye West, right? He hasn't been himself, but he always pushing to do something different. Whether you like it or not, he always trying to move the needle. Lil Wayne, to me, he hasn't tried to do that.
Bully may have saved Kanye. I just thought about that. Production-wise, Bully may have saved Kanye because he can show people I can still do them beats.
I'm gonna get to that later.
Hitler right now, so that's
I didn't. And Lance, I didn't like that album, but I'm gonna get to that later. But it's a point I'm gonna bring up later about Bully and Kanye when we talk about the GOATs or what have you, greatest of all time. But I think the word you're looking for is you got to be able to reinvent yourself if you're a GOAT tier artist. I mean, prime example is Nas in the Hit Boy series. You know what I mean? Jay-Z on 444. You know, Jay-Z on Black Album. You know what I mean? That's what separates the GOATs from just the nice rappers who have a long career. You know what I mean?
And even if you don't really want to do that, you could adjust to the times, like Only Built for Cuban Links too. You can tell it wasn't an original album, but it definitely had a Raekwon sound to it. It worked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
in your own way right now.
Yeah, adjust to the times in your own way. And it looks like Wayne literally tried to put out an album he tried to sell to us in 2011. You know what I mean? With cheaper beats.
Think about it, Reese. We're now living in an age where Kendrick is making better club songs than Wayne.
That's crazy.
After people been saying Kendrick don't make songs for the club.
Yeah, couldn't make bangers.
I really don't understand why people say he couldn't do that. He literally has bangers throughout his whole catalog. He just don't stand on those songs.
Exactly.
But he has bangers. He does.
People
like if you go to
Kendrick, or the bangers, even though he had the bangers. That's the thing.
Yeah, you don't really stand on them like that.
Yeah.
But you know the crazy thing is, if I was Wayne, first of all, I would have got a producer who just, because it's another thing that I don't like about these artists nowadays, right? And this really kind of makes me mad about them. Lil Wayne is already solidified. He's already a legend. It's that he's out of here. At this point in your career, you could do whatever you want. You could work with any producer you want. You could literally do nothing but a rap album where there's an unknown producer that nobody knows of. You could do this. But I think that they're so caught up in trying to be number one and looking at the numbers every week that they don't really care for the music part of it. And I think that's why, me personally, that's why Kendrick Lamar is a little bit different. I don't think Kendrick really cares about the numbers. It just so happens he number one. And I think Drake got obsessed with the numbers. That's why he's so mad about Kendrick being where he at. I also think that J. Cole don't really care about numbers, but I think J. Cole is afraid to drop something because I think he's afraid that it's not going to do as well. You know what I'm saying? And he probably sleeping on something crazy. I'm telling you right now. He probably sleeping on something crazy because
he's going to drop. He definitely, Fall Off is going to be something to talk about.
But if you do care about the numbers, please care about the music, because people have been hating Jay-Z to the point now where people are saying Bow Wow at his height was bigger than Jay-Z.
That, and
huh?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Lance, I'm glad you brought up Jay-Z because that's going to be segue to our next topic.
Yeah, forget music. Like, Beyonce's husband is bigger than Bow Wow. Like, forget music.
Bow Wow.
Go ahead.
I saw that video and I was like, dude just reached for anything because he knew he was going to get views off of that. Because that was such a joke, talking about Bow Wow anywhere close to Jay-Z. You know what I mean?
And he said DMX is a bigger star than Snoop.
That's wild.
That's more believable, but nah. DMX has passed on. I mean, his legacy is great, but not to the level of Snoop. I mean,
Snoop is bigger than Jay-Z. We can all agree with that.
That he's more recognizable, I would think. He's been in the game longer.
Yeah, because keep in mind, we're not talking about musically. We're just saying star-wise. Like
as a star.
Yeah, like chilling with Martha Stewart and co-hosting the Olympics. Like nothing.
And
breakdancing competitions. That's crazy.
Snoop Dogg is definitely a household name. He's definitely a household name. I think Snoop really blew up when he did that video where he said he don't smoke weed no more. That's what it really
On a high tech beat at that. That's crazy.
Like for real.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think he definitely is.
But anyway, since we bring up Jay-Z, before I get to this, there was a line, I believe, on one of the songs there. I think it was Flex Talk or something like that, where Wayne alluded to the fact, I don't know the exact line, but he basically said, yeah, I saw Hove at a party or what have you. I saw Hove, and then something about Stevie Wonder could see that it didn't happen, knowing that Stevie Wonder was blind. Anyway, there was a reference to Stevie Wonder, basically pointing it out that Jay-Z said that they met at one time, maybe to talk about the Super Bowl, and it didn't happen. So it made Jay-Z out to look like he was lying. But the thing about it is Jay-Z and Wayne met in August of last year, right before the Super Bowl announcement. They took pictures together. So if Wayne is accusing Jay-Z of lying, Wayne, aren't you the one who's lying here? You got a timestamp picture with you and Jay-Z at DJ Khaled's party at the 4040 Club opening.
Yeah, I definitely know he's lying because he did say, I think if I'm not sure, I think he said he was on a short list and they didn't choose him.
Yeah.
I believe he said that. I'm not sure. I don't know if he said it or if somebody else said that. But
either way, him and Jay-Z talked. But that's the thing. But you're saying on the album now that y'all didn't talk. So what's it going to be?
I wonder if Jay-Z did hear some songs off this album. Now I think about it.
Interesting point. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if Jay-Z heard something off this album. I honestly think that he probably did, but I don't think that was the reason why he wasn't chosen for the Super Bowl. I think Wayne thinks he was supposed to be chosen because it was his city, but that would be the only time that ever happened outside of the one when they did everybody. But at that point, I mean, let's just take that Kendrick Lamar didn't have a great year. He at the height of Kendrick's where he's at right now, how could you put Lil Wayne over him at the Super Bowl when you already know the weight that he holds in the game right now? So I think, me personally, I said this before, I don't understand why Wayne didn't seize the opportunity to work with Kendrick at that time. I think he should have been like, yo, you coming to my city, we gonna make this joint lit. You know what I'm saying? I think he should have did that. It would have probably lessened the blow of what the album when he dropped his album. But I don't know. I don't think Jay heard it though. I don't think he heard it. So I don't know.
But do the fan, because see, this is the narrative that we heard once Kendrick got the Super Bowl nod, is that how dare you disrespect Wayne? It was pushed by Nicki Minaj, it was pushed by ESPN, all of these media outlets and social media, that Wayne was owed that, But now that we see that this Wayne is a shell of his former self. I mean, can this guy even make a hit? Where was the last real mega hit this guy has had in the last 10 to 15 years? And obviously this album.
You want me to tell you the real answer why they was acting like that?
Yeah.
I could tell you the real answer. I don't want to get political, but I could tell you the real answer.
Yeah. The
real answer is most of the people that went against Kendrick are conservatives. That's the real answer. And Wayne is one of them. Jay-Z's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say Nicki Minaj is, but she will lean a little bit on that side. You get what I'm saying?
Because of the Trump narrative, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because she leaned on that side. We already know how Wayne feels about Trump because Wayne made a song on his album with Trump naming it.
Peanut
you know what I'm saying? But look at all the hate comes from that side. You look at all this, at all the, it's the worst Super Bowl halftime ever. They should have put Lil Wayne. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. Most people that watch, I'm not saying I'm just calling out the conservatives. You know how I feel, but I'm just saying
exactly.
I think it's a bunch of people. And I think that's the main reason why Jay-Z is not a conservative.
Yeah.
Not. And he does stand on the other side. And since he's in charge, that's, to me, that's one of the major reasons why they did that. Because most of the people that are how would I say, that run with Wayne as far as like on that side, they all conservative. Most of the football fans, conservatives. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So I believe that's the reason why it was a smear campaign against Kendrick, was because of that. And Jay-Z definitely leans on the other side.
Well, I had thoughts about that. I did have thoughts about that because just seeing the vitriol that just comes, big word, vitriol, but just the hate that comes to Jay-Z's these days.
Yeah.
I tend to think, I wonder if this has something to do with Donald Trump and the new administration, because Jay-Z is so tightly aligned with the Democratic Party.
No, I wouldn't say that, because if that was the case, a lot more people would be hating Kanye. And even though people did have a problem with Kanye this year over his tweets, they still listen to his music and didn't complain about it like this. Don't forget, Vultures 2 came out last year too. That wasn't a good album.
That flopped. That was a flop, flat out.
Yeah.
Flat out.
I will say that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I will say what you said. I understand exactly what you're saying. But see, the biggest difference between Kanye and Jay-Z is people perceive Kanye to be crazy. They don't perceive Jay-Z to be crazy.
Mental health, that's right.
And it's crazy because if you knew Jay-Z, you would know. You wouldn't be surprised if he had crazy moments.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to the general public, he doesn't look like he's one of those. He's not out here singing Hell Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the general public, he's not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing about Kanye West is he goes against, I don't want to really speak on the whole community he goes against, because we ain't gonna do all that. Just saying, like, that's what I think it is. But if you look at the history of the DMC, or the Democratic Party, Jay-Z definitely supports them. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But the crazy thing is, when you go to the Super Bowl, Trump was at the Super Bowl, and Wayne was at the Super Bowl. I mean, not Wayne. Kendrick was at the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar doesn't like Donald Trump. He don't. He literally said Donald Trump's a punk. He said that. He don't. Yeah. So when you have a dynamic like that, where two people who don't really like Trump, because I don't think I ever heard Jay-Z say he didn't like Trump, but I will say that he doesn't stand with Trump. You know what I'm saying? So if you got two people who don't stand with him, who's running a halftime show in front of hundreds and thousands of I don't want to say white people, but I'm just gonna say conservatives at the most at the Super Bowl, and the leader of the conservative party is at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get it. He's gonna get hate for that. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But
by the way, to answer your question earlier, Sean, do you consider Pressure by 2 Chainz and Wayne a hit?
Pressure by 2 Chainz and Wayne. I gotta remember that. Oh, you're talking about what?
Had the whistle beat in it.
That was all right to me. That was just okay. That was on the Collard Grove album, right?
Yeah. Before that, would you consider Can't Nobody, that used the DMX niggas that started something sample? Would you consider that a hit?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That I didn't like that record. Like
that one.
I thought, if you want to say it's a hit, it's not a mega hit. It made noise because it was Wayne. But for Wayne, somebody of Wayne's stature, to use a recycled old, bad boy beat that wasn't even one of the best beats from that era, and try and make a hit out of it, I thought was lazy. I really thought that was lazy, man.
Band from NO was horrible.
It was an okay song, but it's like, you know what that's like? That's like Nas, You Owe Me, kind of.
Oh, guess what? You know what Wayne's last hit really was?
What's that?
When Swiss Beats remade the Special Delivery beat.
That's the song. That's the song we're talking about.
That's the song you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his last hit. Okay.
The last time I remember with Wayne having a mega hit was the song with Chris Brown about these girls ain't loyal, these hoes ain't loyal. That was like 2014, and he was a feature artist on there. But that was a big record. Yeah. That was a long time. That's the last time Wayne really rang off. You know what I mean? On the radio. But yeah, but I just think as back to the Super Bowl.
You're right, 2014.
Yeah. So, but back to the Super Bowl, right? It's obvious that anybody better than Wayne, and I'm not even going to say Kendrick Lamar, would have been a better choice if they would have picked Taylor Swift. But it's clear Wayne doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have the star power to drive a Super Bowl performance. I watched the BET Awards last night, and he did like a little mashup of Carter 5, and I think he did a Millie too. And I'm like, that's it? This guy really was going to rock a crowd for 25 minutes to a half hour in the biggest show in the world? That would have been a horrible choice. Maybe as a guest feature, maybe he came out and did a couple of songs, but this guy can't rock a halftime. You know, so in the end of the day, the right decision was made. I mean, period.
Yeah, I think people got to understand something, and this is not to really belittle or shit on Wayne, but I think people got to understand something. Stadiums tours are totally different from arenas. I think people don't understand.
That's true.
It's not the same. I would never go to another arena tour. I will only do stadiums now. That's how
yeah.
That's the feeling I have. Like, I've been to 2 so far. I've been to Kendrick, and I've been to The Weeknd. I would never go down from that because the energy is different, bro. The atmosphere is just different. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I believe that Wayne should apologize to Drake? I mean, to Drake. Apologize to Jay? Or do Jay owe not Wayne, but do people owe Jay-Z an apology? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if this album was a classic or even close to it, I would have said no. I wouldn't have said he would have been a better choice, but I would have said no, he don't owe. But
it's a discussion.
After he with this, nah, y'all owe Jay-Z an apology. Jay-Z made the right choice.
Yeah.
Made the right choice. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that. All right, so
but I think before we go, I think the reason why he came out with that album so fast, number one, he's trying to get Grammy nominations because I believe August is the last month.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't think Kendrick gonna drop an album until after August. And Drake, I believe Drake is gonna drop his album soon before August because that's when album of the year, hip hop album of the year. But I think that Wayne wanted to put this out fast. Maybe it'll hit. Maybe some songs will hit for him because they don't really know who's going to perform in LA next year at the Super Bowl. And he probably feels as though if he come out with an album and it has hits or whatever, he probably can get that spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think it's going to get too much momentum. It's only going to sell probably about 130K in the first week. It may not even be number one. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You still got some people thinking it's going to age. Well, I don't see how they say that, but there's some people that really believe in that.
Come on, man. Come on.
I'm ready for this next question. So I know we're
all right. So let's talk about it, fellas. After Carter 6, okay, and I'm going to actually bring up, we're going to talk about Wayne's catalog first before we get to lining him up against the GOATs, right? I actually posted this in our group earlier in Hip Hop Roundtable Presents the Review. This is Wayne's official album track list, or not track list, catalog right here. All of his records, dating back to when he started in 1999. And I really didn't know how much inconsistency he had in this. Like, I could only name maybe, I'm being generous to say 6 to 7 albums I'm going back to revisit on this list right here, bro. And he got 14 songs. So I'm thinking, what, a 50% clip, you know? And you're supposed to be not only a GOAT, but the GOAT of GOATs, as people were trying to push after the Super Bowl announcement was made for Kendrick Lamar. What do y'all think of this? Like, is this track list really, not track list, but catalog really do it for you?
But let's say you even put this at 50%. Let's just say 7 albums you like, 7 albums you don't like on here.
Yeah.
You got to include the mixtapes.
I was going to get to that. Yeah. He needs those mixtapes to make it elite.
It ain't just the mixtapes, because he's better on mixtapes, he's better on features, and he's better under the Hot Boys.
That's true with the group albums, especially down south with those.
He just happened to be he started getting on the street when he started doing the Carter series. Somewhere between 4 and 5, things went left. You know what I'm saying? So that's when we started seeing like an adjustment. But then, like I said, because he's so out of tune, I've seen some people say like, well, Lil Wayne album's going to sound worse the older we get. Now, as far as like the albums that came out in the 2000s, to me, those are solidified.
Oh, yeah. There's no question about that.
It's the albums that are in the 2010s, and now we got to say 2020s. That's the debate.
Oh, yeah. Reese, I don't know what you think. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, this is just my personal opinion out of this whole list. And this is just how I feel about it. The Carter 2 and 3, the rest I could do without.
Even the Carter 4.
Like the rest I really don't care for. The Carter 2 and 3, it's okay to me, but I think the Carter 2 and 3 is where he was at his peak. But all the rest of these albums, I mean, even the Carter 1, I would say, but I would even say I'll say the Carter 1, 2, 3, and 4. The rest of the albums here, they can die. They can all go away. I wouldn't even care.
I'll give you, this is what I'll go. I'll go the first 4 Carters. I'll go, what was his debut? The Block is Hot. That's not bad. You know, I went back, and this is actually when we had the whole Juvenile debate, Juvenile and Nas debate. I actually went back and listened to that. That's not bad. So that's 5. I'll be generous. I'll give you the Carter 5. I think that album is mid as hell. That's a 7 out of 10 to me, but I'll give you that. And then what else are we talking about here?
Now, you know what I mean? Me personally, this may be the Southern in me. The Carter 2, 3, 1 is 1 through 3. After that, I actually got Lights Out at number 4.
Yeah.
To me, that was the better Mannie Fresh production album.
Okay.
And that was the last Mannie. No, because Carter 1 was like a combination of Mannie and other people. But but Lights Out was the last all Mannie production album. After that, Lights, 500 Degrees. That's when he started making the type of music that you hear on Funeral. And,
5,000 Degrees,
And this album, the Carter 6, and it's like you just didn't like it. So that's when, he just started making the Carter series. That's when he started getting on his run. After 4, that's when he started doing the Rebirth album, I Am Not a Human Being, put out that Free Wayne album. And he would just put out music just to put out music.
But see, it's interesting.
There's nothing to remember about that.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the mixtapes. But when we trash like a 50 Cent or we downplay like a Young Jeezy and their catalogs, like we can't add the mixtapes for them to add them and elevate their catalog in the GOAT conversation. But it's only Lil Wayne. Oh, but the mixtapes.
But here's the difference with 50 though. 50 is 50% on albums too, and he dropped way less than Wayne.
He did.
It's not like he has a strong album resume himself outside of Get Rich or Die Trying.
Bro, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is another mixtape. This is another argument for another day. I will go toe to toe with every 50 mixtape and the Wayne mixtapes. 50's mixtape run was, I think, more influential than Wayne's run when he started out in 2001. I will stand on that. So if we're gonna downplay 50 and says, well, his catalog is trash. Well, if we're gonna add the mixtapes in and that G Unit album, and we're putting it all together, 50 has a pretty comparable catalog altogether. But we trashed 50 and said, oh no, but his catalog is way too weak for him to be considered to be one of the best.
But no, 50 Wayne, mixtape Wayne versus mixtape 50 makes perfect sense.
That's right.
That makes perfect sense. And yeah, you could put Jeezy's resume above both. I mean, album discography, you could put Jeezy above both.
Here's my next bold
statement. You could put T.I. over both of them if you could.
Jeezy's catalog is better than Wayne and 50, and we never bring him up in the GOAT conversation. And he was more of a wave in the 2000s. He really brought the trap generation up in the 2000s, even more than T.I., I would think. You know what I mean? So
but here's the thing: a lot of people
never gets the credit for it.
But here's the problem: a lot of people like the Jeezy back then more than the Jeezy now, because Jeezy now is a little more versatile, even though he can go back to that drug shit.
Yeah,
not a lot of people down here is fans of Jeezy when he's not doing the drug talk.
That's
what I'm saying? And that's probably why Pusha T sticking to what he's doing, because it's going to be rare we're going to see Pusha not do drug talk.
Yeah, so and I'm not even. Here's the thing: I didn't even get to the real GOATs. I'm not even talking about his catalog versus Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac. I mean, Wayne ain't even close to that. Let's get that out the conversation right now. But let's put him up against the Eminem. Reese, what do you think? Eminem versus Wayne and a catalog for catalog here.
Oh man. He washes Wayne. You
really?
Got to, like, yes, I definitely think that. I'll put it to you like this: Eminem might have one album I think is totally unlistenable to,
Revival,
or it's that bad.
Yeah,
and Revival, I used to like Revival until I went back and listened to it. It's not as good as I thought. Maybe I was just trying to be difficult and didn't want to say that. But if we're talking about flows, songs, meaning of music, different types of artistry, no way you can compare that. We go from Marshall Mathers LP 1, we go from Infinite to the song Kim. Lil Wayne don't have no song better than that. That one song, Cleaning Out My Closet. So many records, bro, that we can go down. And then if we could go to just rapping ability, rap God, you know what I'm saying? If we go past that, Murder by Numbers, like, no, absolutely not. It's only, like I said, it's only one Eminem album I say is really bad. You know what I'm saying? The rest of them, I would say it's okay to classic. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. But like, what's the one album here? Man, nah, bro.
But
it's 3 a.m. in the morning.
That was bro. No. Rebirth.
Yeah.
No, my bad. Not bro. Rebirth. Relapse. I'm mixing up the reads.
That was a relapse. Nah, bro. Spaceships.
The Relapse album actually did age well. That is an example of an album aging well over time, because I did not like that album. But Lance, what did you think? Eminem versus Lil Wayne catalog.
And I'm looking at both of them right now.
Yeah.
It's not as clear as you think it is.
It's not.
Because, like, if you talk about the better rapper, yes, Eminem over Wayne any day.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about albums, if it wasn't for Bad Meets Evil, I would clearly say Eminem. I would clearly say Eminem has worse beat selection than Nas and Wayne.
But I'm talking about overall projects.
And it makes a difference though. That's why I have to put Wayne over M when it comes to that factor. That makes a difference when it comes to this conversation because Eminem is sonically. A lot of the number one issue with people with Eminem's music is sonically.
But what about Dre though, man? You can't leave out the Dre, the Dre era Eminem.
Of course, but you also got the Hot Boys Wayne.
But Hot Boys Wayne, the
yes,
Dre,
Manny
Fresh can't sniff Dr. Dre, bro. Let's be honest about that.
Dr. Dre and Eminem versus Lil Wayne and Manny Fresh is not as clear as you think.
I can't agree with that at all. Oh no way.
Now, if you want to say Snoop and Dre, 50 and Dre, I'll give that to you. But Eminem and Dre,
yeah, come on, man.
Some of Dre's worst beats are Eminem songs. Just Losing.
What's it?
I'll put Swish over Just Lose It.
What was the one? I could just go down to Eminem show, man, and just rip off all the Dre beats on there, and I would put any Dre beat he put on Eminem show versus Wayne at his best with Manny Fresh easily.
Okay, you want to talk about the Eminem show?
Yeah.
All right. But see,
I'm not afraid.
I would have said Marshall Mathers instead of the Eminem show, but I put the Carter 2 over all three of them albums.
Bro.
Carter 2?
I put Carter 2 over all three of them albums.
Over what album?
Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, and Eminem show. I got the Carter 2 over those.
Crazy.
What? I don't see that.
Yes.
Nah, bro. I don't think so, bro.
I might put Carter 2 over
I'd rather listen to Wheezy Baby, Don't Say the Baby at All, than anything with Bizarre on it.
I'll give you over Slim Shady. I'll give you Carter 2. But Carter 3 is the only one to match up against Eminem show. Carter 3 versus Marshall Mathers maybe.
The Amityville, no.
I like that.
No.
That had this whole we talked about Remember Me? That had the one with Sticky Fingers in the Morning.
That song
album is better than Carter 2. That me personally, I don't think that Wayne has any albums that I can say definitively better than Eminem albums besides the ones later on in his career.
All right, do this, right?
Eminem has a song harder than The Mob from those first three albums.
Okay, I'll put it to you like this. Eminem's best 4 albums versus Wayne's best 4 albums, and you could include compilation and group albums.
Eminem's wins to me. He wins.
Best of the best.
4 albums?
If you say 4, see, that's the thing. I don't know because you said 4.
The best of the best. Best 4, his best 4, and that could include. Because I'm glad you brought up Bad Meets Evil.
Okay, if we include Bad Meets Evil, I'll say M.
Okay.
If we don't include that, I say Wayne clearly.
Well, it's pretty even. It's close. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna say anything saves Wayne, it's the mixtapes in that to put him ahead.
Okay, I give that to you because to me, Bad Meets Evil saved M.
But I'll tell you what, Lance, I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Because keep in mind, Royce don't mess with no whack beats.
You're right about that.
You know what I mean?
But I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm starting to look at Kanye maybe passing Lil Wayne now, and I've been critical of Kanye.
No, it's crazy. You're right.
I think Kanye
on a bad day is better than Wayne. I never thought I'd see that day.
Yes,
in my opinion, Kanye West already past Wayne. Like I don't think. To me, I think Kanye West is better than Wayne, hands down. I don't like Kanye now and with the stuff he's doing now, but the college dropout to the late registration, Wayne ain't got nothing better than them albums, bro. In my opinion,
I crashed it. I do think Bully is better than Lil Wayne's Carter 6.
Exactly.
As much as I want to hate it, bro, at least I could listen to the beats.
It's an album that I actually slept on until I listened to it recently. That Kid See Ghost album is actually a classic, bro. That's a really good album, bro.
You know what's not bad? The Vultures 1 with Ty Dolla $ign. That's not a bad album.
That was a good album. I
like that album.
But Vulture 2 went back to that
Kanye. Oh yeah, that was in the toilet, but he had bangers on there.
Vulture's 1 was dope though. Yeah.
I mean, I put it to you like this: Kanye had bangers on Vultures 2 that I would listen to before anything on this Wayne album. Period.
How y'all feel about Donda?
That wasn't bad. That
had to grow on me. I like some of it, but not most of the album.
It was like 7 out of 10, kind of.
That was the one that had for saying Ye
had a lot.
Was not a good 7-track album. I went back and listened to that. I was wrong. The Ye EP was a good album.
See, the thing about Kanye, if he wants to, he can make a banger that's going to stay in your head. And I mean a hard banger. He knows the right producers to pick, because Mike Dean is one of the most slept on producers of all time, in my opinion. Like, he knows how to put out a banger and get the right features on there.
That's why he sounded the way he is. Okay. And you know that's Scarface, so yeah.
Yeah.
That dude is fire. Mike Dean is like he's one of the best ever. I fucks with Mike Dean.
Did you know Mike Dean produced AZ Do or Die?
No way.
What'd you say?
I was checking credits. He produced AZ Do or Die, the single.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
That's a classic album too.
Yeah.
Yeah. More Money, More Homicide. Yeah.
Let me make sure I'm right. Crazy. So I want to make sure I didn't mix them up with N.O. Joe, because they both worked with Scarface. But yeah.
Okay, here's another couple of rappers. Another couple of rappers I gotta get to. Of course, we're gonna have to get to the elephant in the room. Does Drake have a better catalog than Lil Wayne?
That's actually a good argument.
Until I hear that Dr. Williams album, no.
I'm with you.
Good argument.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm on the fence with that, because I think Drake's last rap album he did that was mostly rap was Her Loss, and I give that Her Loss over a lot of these albums that Lil Wayne.
That's true.
Yeah, because Her Loss.
But I think the thing with
I ain't gonna lie. That album's pretty good.
Dogs at all.
Her Loss was
like the Dollar Bill album. Her Loss, but 21 was on that album too, so that's why I listened to it.
And you know the crazy thing is,
Care Package wasn't that bad.
They're rapping on the album, but you know what? I think one of his best albums was the joint with Future. That joint was
What a Time to Be Alive.
I did like that album. Now that I think about it, that album aged pretty good. That compilation.
I didn't like it when I first heard it because I wasn't a Future fan. But when I went back and listened to Future shit, I was like, okay, the joint with Drake wasn't as bad.
You know what's so crazy? Drake's been so mid and has so many forgettable albums. Views actually sounds pretty decent now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would go back to Views.
But listen to what you said. It's forgettable though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know if Views is forgettable. His biggest hits came off of there. One Dance and the other one. What was the one? Hotline Bling.
Ain't that the album that had Control? Or was that the album that had
Flow? Western Road Flows, and when he flipped the DMX joint, when he flipped the what do bitches want from a nigga, he flipped that joint.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah.
That's more Wu-Tang Forever on that joint too.
No, Wu-Tang Forever.
Nothing was the same.
Yeah,
because that was one of the few Drake albums I really liked. That was on that one.
You know what I think about Drake? Like, I think Drake gets elevated, obviously, for the string of hits that he has and the singles. But when you line up Drake's catalog, album-wise, it's closer to a Snoop Dogg more than closer to like a Wayne or a Kanye. Like, there are not that many high highs on there, and they're more. There's a lot more mid and forgettable in there, but I don't know if Drake has like a really low floor as a bad album. You know,
but Drake's strength isn't necessarily albums either. It's hit songs.
That's right. What was your point, Reese?
He don't have Drake don't have no Doggy Style. Nowhere near that.
Oh yeah,
he don't have that. You know what
I mean,
saying?
the closest he has is Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. And if you want to call one a classic, maybe, but that doesn't match up to Carter 2 or Carter 3. So that's what I mean. Is like his highs are not the highs of Wayne or a Kanye, and he just has a bunch of mid after that, where it's like take your pick because of all the singles he got.
Yeah, he was always one of the people that didn't really work on his album. It was more, he had a lot of filler songs. Most of his songs are singles.
That's right.
Piece. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's why he's more. His catalog is more like a Busta Rhymes or like a Snoop, where you have a lot of albums that it's like, I'm not gonna go outside of like a Doggy Style. You're not going back to listening to a lot of Snoop albums.
I'm definitely putting Busta's resume over Wayne for sure.
You're talking about his catalog?
Yes.
What's the albums you talking about? The ones where he was on No Limit?
Snoop wasn't that bad.
Matter of fact,
that album is pretty fire.
What messed up Snoop was the Dogfather. That's what messed up Snoop. It was the album after Doggy Style. But he had good albums, but then he had albums. But it wasn't Carter 6 bad.
Album was pretty fire. That Jones, I like that album.
Like,
that was the one I think.
Which album is worse? Honestly, Never Mind or the Carter 6? Because I still don't like Honestly Never Mind.
And they both going in the trash.
Yeah.
Both going in the trash.
But think about Busta though. There was a time people wanted to see a Busta Eminem versus, and it made sense, not because of the rapping, but because Busta had them hip hop songs too.
That's true.
And Busta probably only had like 2 bad albums.
I don't. He doesn't have a lot of bad albums, but he doesn't have a lot of albums that really move the culture like that. You know,
you didn't like the first ELE?
Yeah. I'm looking up Snoop's catalog now. You know what's a slept on Snoop album? The Last Meal. That's when he got back with Dre around that time when Chronic 2001 came out.
That was the last No Limit album.
That album aged very
That album was dope. The Blue Carpet Treatment.
That's another one. That's another one.
From the Church to the Palace. No, it's Cost to Be the Boss. That's the album that got DJ Premier, High Tech.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he had like an all-star production.
But the thing about it is he has so many forgettable albums, like Dogfather's on here, like Rhythm and Gangsta, the masterpiece was good. That was like his second best, arguably. That's the one with Beautiful on there. Blue Carpet wasn't bad, but Ego Tripping, Malice in Wonderland, Documentary, like
I definitely didn't like Snoop Lion. That album was ass.
Yeah, Reincarnated. That's actually the Bush album I kind of liked, but it was not rap. It was like easy listening hip hop. Like that's the stuff he was doing with Charlie Wilson and all them. But the thing about it is like you're not gonna go back and listen to many Snoop albums outside of maybe 3. You know. Here's another one. DMX. What about DMX catalog versus Wayne?
That's a wash. Come on, man.
I gotta listen to DMX after the 3rd album again because it was forgettable to me after the 3rd album.
I think his 4th album was pretty decent though.
But Wayne has no It's Dark as Hell Is Hot.
I don't think he has any flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, personally.
I actually like it. Then There Was X better than the 2nd album.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm not a big Sweet Beast fan, but I actually like it. Then There Was X better. Believe it or not.
You put that 3 up against anybody's top 3. X is walking away with a lot of wins, man.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah.
He definitely is.
So what, Reese, you got X over Wayne's catalog?
Yeah. I think he compared to those first 2 albums is too They too bulletproof.
But see, this is my whole thing, and let's get to the final topic. Okay. Wayne's everything. Let's just put it out there. Lil Wayne versus Kendrick Lamar. Reese, I already know where you're going.
But I have a reason why. I'm just not just going to say Kendrick.
Oh, definitely state your case. Definitely.
I think Kendrick Lamar has accomplished much more than Wayne, very much faster than Wayne. And then if we're talking about, maybe y'all can enlighten me. I have never heard a bad Kendrick Lamar verse. Maybe okay, but I never heard a trash Kendrick Lamar verse. Like, that's trash.
You like the verse he did on a Playboi Carti album? Because I didn't.
I actually like that song.
Though.
I like that song.
It's not trash. I'm talking like I never heard a verse. And even if we use that argument, that's one. I can give you unlimited Wayne trash verses. You know what I'm saying? I could give you unlimited Wayne trash songs from tapes down to his songs. I just can't say the same thing for Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of Kendrick Lamar music, all his albums age well. Every one of them, in my opinion. Every one of them, in my opinion. So when we talk about Wayne, I mean, what are we going to put? Good Kid, Mad City versus the Carter One. Come on. Then we go.
We already did that.
Come on, man.
We already did that. Yeah. It was Carter 2 versus Good Kid, Mad City. Good Kid, Mad City got it.
So I'm saying like I think that, and then on top of that, I think Kendrick Lamar has gotten better as an artist than Wayne has as an artist. I think Wayne has kind of fell down. You know what I'm saying? He does good verses when he wants to do them, but his verses are not movements. Kendrick Lamar verses are movements. People wait for him to drop a verse versus an album. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that that's how I feel. I think that it's just, to me, maybe, and even like, damn, like, do we have anything better than Damn?
Damn versus Carter 3. We were actually supposed to do that battle too.
Like, come on, man.
I think Damn versus Carter 3 is a pretty good one though. I may lean Carter 3 on that. I'm not gonna lie.
Carter 3. Damn had, how many features Damn had?
Damn had Rihanna on there. He had the boy Zakari on there.
Yeah.
Who else was on Damn? I want to say, was J-Rock on Damn? Let me look that up.
I think so.
Lance, what do you think? Kendrick versus Wayne.
U2 was on there.
Yeah, I remember Bono was on there.
Yeah.
You might not like my answer, but
you still going Wayne?
Overall in the career, I still have to go Wayne. But if I want to go right now at this moment, like, it's clearly Kendrick. But if Kendrick continues to be like this the rest of his career, then yes, Kendrick will be over Wayne. But at this point, overall, I still would edge Wayne.
So let me ask you this. You had a chance to make a top 10 list and you would put Wayne. So who would be your, I'm just going to say.
Are you talking about rappers?
Yeah, that's right now. I'm saying that's
okay. So that's the thing, because like in my top 10 all time, neither are in my top 10. But if I had the list and I put down my top rapper list and we went right now, I would have to put Kendrick over Wayne.
Yeah.
But if you want to say overall, I have to include the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
The 2010s, clearly Kendrick. The 2010s and 2020s, like Kendrick is watching him. But Kendrick wasn't around in the 2000s. But what if Wayne stopped right now and Kendrick kept going for another 10 years? It's like, damn, you have to put him over Wayne. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could happen.
Nothing you could do. See, my thing with Kendrick Lamar is I always ask people, like, what is the box that Kendrick Lamar does not check? I mean, he's a great lyricist. He's got the classic albums. He's got a very consistent catalog. He's got the hits. He's got the record sales. He's got all the awards. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? It reaches the point. It's like, all right, it's almost like some, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady type shit. Like,
but you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's the same reason why a lot of Wayne fans don't like this Carter 6 album. Not even just the beats.
Yeah.
They don't like rapidy rap shit. And Wayne did a lot of rapidy rap shit, but it was more, okay, now I see why you call Lyrical Miracle, because you're just saying stuff to say stuff.
Yeah.
But people don't realize Kendrick be talking about something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta listen, you gotta understand that. Like, it's messed up to kind of use that intellect argument, but you kind of have to.
But here's the thing, like, Kendrick's not really doing rapidy rap on GNX. He's doing like more melodic type of lyrical. He's still lyrical, but it's more melodic. Like Luther is not
lyrical. But listen to what you just said. He's still lyrical.
Yeah, but it's still melodic though. It's not rapidy rap. It's not like Eminem. It's definitely not what Wayne is doing on Carter 6. I know that.
He had a punchline in Luther.
Yeah, but it's still
you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing?
But it's still musical. It's still something you could rock to. And when I see it at the show and everybody's dancing in the show, that's not rapidy rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get exactly what y'all saying. As far as like with Boxy, the only thing I think Kendrick Lamar has a problem with, and it's really not his fault, is time. He did so much, it's so fast that nostalgia is what really fights against him, because all of these people always bring up other artists that's been around way longer than him.
And you kind of have to do that.
That's the thing. Like, so when you look at the list, he would always fall under Jay-Z as number 2, because Jay-Z, he's been running the longest and whatever, like outside of Nas, but they always put Kendrick at number 2 on all these lists. He's always number 2. I think now they finally said he's number 1, but I think that's what it is. It's the time that he hasn't had in the game. These dudes are talking like 30, 35 years in the game. Kendrick is 15 years in the game. Yeah. And I think that's what really, and that's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? That's really what hurts him. Because a lot of old heads that I talk to, they be like, oh man, he ain't real. He hip hop, but you ain't talking about that old Jay, like blah, 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 blah. They live and die off nostalgia. Live and die off of it.
You also want to know why you're correct? Because even the best of the 2020s, people are still not putting it over the best of the 2010s, which when they're not putting over the best of the 2000s, which they're not putting over the best of the 90s and so forth.
I can tell you like this, bro. And this is real shit. If I can pull out 10 rappers from the 2010s or the 2020 that rap better than rappers from back in the 90s, bro. I could pull 10 rappers that physically rap better than them. You know what I'm saying? But most people they don't take it in consideration because they hold on to their feeling of that old rap. Like, yeah, like there's a lot of rappers that will get demolished by a lot of these dudes nowadays. They will get washed. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. Yeah.
They'll get washed.
And that sounds good until you point out 10 rappers that were out in the 90s that are still rapping today. Can they match with the 10 that you're speaking of?
I mean, the ones I got, I don't think they could, bro.
Can Ransom?
Well, it depends on who
rap Black Thought.
If I'm putting, if we talking about the 90s versus the 2000s.
But even we're talking about 90s rappers that are rapping today.
Yeah.
Who would you say 90s rappers rapping today?
Like, for example, I just said Ransom and Black Thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good battle, but I don't know. That's a very good battle. That's a very good battle. Like,
but the crazy thing about it is, like, those rappers in the 2020s that really could rap really great don't get any notoriety because of the style of hip hop that gets promoted by mass media and the culture. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, Busta Rhymes dropped his worst album 2 years ago, and that's still better than the Carter 6. That's still better than this R&B album Drake got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I will say that the rappers from the 90s, they know how to make songs. Their creative process was much better than the creative process of these rappers today. Except for Joyner Lucas. To me, he doesn't get enough respect. I'm not a real big fan of his, but he has a lot of good music that has a lot of good points.
He's actually coming out with an album soon too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he's an amazing artist. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I can acknowledge that he's an amazing artist.
His 2010s era got slept on. His 2010s era.
He's going to have a catalog that ages well. I'll say that. And
I agree with that. I also said the same for what's the name of that rapper Florida? Denzel Curry.
Yeah, it's another one.
I gotta go back and listen to him again because I kind of didn't jive with some of his recent albums, but at his first couple of albums really made a mark. But I maybe I gotta listen to him a little bit more and break that down more. But I hear a lot about Denzel Curry. Excuse me. The other guy's Jid.
That's what to say. If we're talking about this in the next 10 years, he's gonna be the next guy. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Jid is amazing. He is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Very good at what he does. Very good. You know what I'm saying?
I always say he's like the Atlanta Kendrick Lamar. He always reminded me of that.
And his crew dope too. Spillage Village.
Yeah.
Down with Earth Gang. Like
Earth Gang.
Like Spitters. And I'm kind of a little disappointed because I thought Atlanta would be giving them more recognition because they kind of have a little Outkast flavor in them, but they really be rapping. They're not just
Atlanta is I actually want to do a show about Atlanta. Atlanta is, and believe it or not, Atlanta is all coast, all in one. People don't realize that. They have every type of genre in their city and don't even talk about it. Killer Mike sounds nothing like Jeezy. You know what I'm saying?
You know why? Because the first rappers that went to Atlanta that were already known, you had Too Short, Eric Sermon, and Phife Dawg, and those are three totally different type of artists.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I didn't even know that, but I agree with that. But I definitely think Atlanta. You got Future, then you got Young Thug, then you got Jid, then you got who else is from Atlanta?
Killer Mike is there.
Mike. Big Boy.
Yo, I just saw Run the Jewels perform this past weekend.
That was classic.
That was dope.
Yeah,
that was very good album. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that. And then you got Playboy Cardi.
You know
what I'm saying? I think Atlanta is one of those coasts that have a lot going on that nobody really talks about. Not coast, but city that nobody really talks about.
Yeah, let me know when you talk about Atlanta. I'll give you some stuff that people have told me when I lived there for some years. Let me know you want to talk about that. Yeah. I'll sneak a little story right now before we leave.
Yeah.
The craziest thing I heard in my life, and I'm sorry for going there, Sean, but this is gonna make him want to do that Atlanta episode. The craziest thing I've heard in my life. I knew a dude that said, I've been fucking so many girls since 11. I got tired of it, and that just made me want to try dudes.
Oh God.
And now he's addicted to dudes.
Come on, man.
That's a wild city, man.
Atlanta is a wild city. I used to live in Atlanta. It's crazy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's out of control, bro. Like, for real. It's a lot going on down there, bro. Oh, then you got Little Baby. It's another one. Another one from Atlanta.
I forgot he dropped the album this year.
Yeah.
Terrible.
We'll just show
like, I don't know, man.
Anyway, fellas, thanks for joining me tonight. Definitely check out BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, and Torture Chamber. Make sure you check those podcasts out. Like, share, subscribe. Also, check out, of course, my podcast.
Exactly.
Top Roundtable Reviews. Yeah, it's late. It's getting late for me.
Join the Facebook group also, y'all.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll post this episode probably tomorrow or so. So with that, thanks for joining us, and y'all have a good night. All right.
All right. Holla at y'all later.
Yep.
All right. All right, man.